Kafid everybody, I'm Sabrina Salas Matanane with your latest on containing COVID. The number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 on Guam has risen to 148. 169 individuals were tested on Saturday with 2 tests returning positive. These are samples taken from clinics, the hospitals, testing at the Agate Senior Center, the quarantine facility, as well as the Hemlani apartments in Harmon. Again, the number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 on Guam is 148, 131 recoveries, and 5 deaths. As sailors make their way back to the USS Theodore Roosevelt, they were paid a visit by U.S. Pacific Fleet Commander Admiral John C. Aquilino and Pacific Fleet Master Chief James Honea. They arrived on Guam on May 1st. According to the Navy, their visit included touring the work done to disinfect the carrier and participated in discussions with sailors. They also toured the field hospital at Agana Heights and the expeditionary medical facility built in Finagazan. Aquilino and Honea also met with Governor Lulian Guerrero. Admiral Aquilino stating, quote, "We are so thankful for the support and hospitality the leadership and people of Guam have shown our sailors. No one had any experience with anything like this, and they worked with us side by side as we developed a strategy to give the TR the support it needed." National media report there are now more than 1,100 active COVID cases, 3 of whom are hospitalized at Naval Hospital, and 53 have recovered. Reportedly, the number of sailors who initially tested negative but now testing positive has increased. During a Pentagon briefing over the weekend, spokesperson Jonathan Hoffman says a more in-depth investigation is being conducted to determine how the virus got on the ship in the first place.
Looking at is from the entire process of how once a infection was noted on the Theodore Roosevelt, how did and what processes did the Navy take in addressing that? How did we end up in a situation where this outbreak took place?
The Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, or SAMHSA, has awarded a $500,000 emergency grant to the Guam Behavioral and Wellness Center. According to SAMHSA's website, the Emergency Response COVID-19 grant will go toward addressing mental health and substance abuse disorders on Guam. In other news, the government's plans to open a homeless shelter on Saturday at the Paseo Stadium were scrapped, according to Adelu, based on recent information garnered from similar projects in other jurisdictions. The site for the Safe Haven project was determined not to be conducive to limiting the spread of COVID-19. It has been over 1 month since the governor announced she was working on a shelter for the island's homeless population. A few days ago, restrooms were being fixed at the Paseo, and the baseball field was being prepped. FEMA spokesperson Frank Mansell told KUAM Gov Guam had requested the federal agency to provide tents for the homeless shelter at Paseo. He says, however, a determination was made that it is not an allowable expense. Adelup says site alternatives are being immediately considered in order to safely accommodate the vulnerable population as quickly as possible. Thousands watched online and on KUAM TV as Archbishop Michael Burns held a special Mass early Saturday to reconsecrate our island to the Blessed Virgin Mary. During the Mass, the Archbishop made the announcement about outdoor services.
But in this coming week, we will have the opportunity in the parishes for which it is possible to have Mass, congregate in a parking lot, and to receive communion from their cars. So I just want to make this known at this point, in just that this is another ray of light for us here on this island. And we're doing this in cooperation with the Department of Public Health, and just wanted to acknowledge that as a church we have a strong desire to be partners with our government, recognizing that we have an extraordinary responsibility to see that our efforts in the church don't become an instance of widening the scope of infection here on the island.
Following the mass, the historic statue of Santa Maria in Camelin traveled around the island, passing the island's Catholic churches. It marked the first time the statue was taken down from its spot at the cathedral for other than the annual celebration of the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, which is held in December. Faithful all across the island stood outside their homes and churches in prayer as the statue of Santa Maria in Camelin drove by. And finally, she is among the many frontline heroes responding to the battle against COVID-19. The government produced this special video to introduce you to GMH registered nurse Dellen Doyce.
I had one patient where she was crying, and she was saying like she felt like a prisoner, and I felt for her because they're isolated, they have no contact with their family. It kind of made me cry too because I was scared too. Like, you want to treat them like human beings, and you're not only treating the disease, you're also treating the person. My biggest motivation is my family. These patients are family members, and I always think about, like, man, if that was my family member in there, I want them to be taken good care of. So I always keep that in mind every time I go to work. My name is Dellen Doyce. I'm a registered nurse at GMH.
For the very latest on containing COVID, make sure to check out KUAM.com as well as any of our social media platforms. Again, Guam remains in P-Core 1. The governor has extended her public health emergency to June 5th. This means that everyone is still advised to practice social distancing, wear a mask, and stay home. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Sabrina Salas, Matanane.